Friends, here I'm going to in this video talk to you about and show you how to use the Barrett Toric calculator. And this video may be useful if you are newly starting implanting the toric IUL, want some guidance to see how the toric calculator be used, the Barrett Toric calculator be used. You can also go into the APS series website and find the Barrett Toric calculator there. So in the Barrett Toric calculator, the first thing that comes is the patient data, and you can put the doctor's name here, the patient's name over here, and the patient's ID. And the next that comes here is the whether you are going to implant the toric in the right eye or in the left eye, right? So if you are going to implant, say, in the left eye, let's see the the biometry. So this is something, well, you cannot make out whether this is a cataract surgery for the left or right eye. This is a random biometry chart, so I'm taking it as a left eye. So what changes over here is that the axis actually changes, and for those who do not understand much about the axis, remember that the 0 degree is the temporal of the left eye, and the 180-degree is the temporal of the right eye. So if I change from the left eye to the right eye, the picture actually changes. So now you see that with the right eye, the temporal is now 180-degree, and when I click on the left eye, the temporal is on the 0 degree. So if the surgeon is, it's the surgeon's discretion whether he is going to put the incision at 0 degree or 90 degree. You always ask the surgeon where he is going to be comfortable with. If you are a doctor already and you are planning to implant the toric, you have to decide whether you are going to have the incision at 90 or at the 0 degree. So if it's a left eye, and let us assume that you are going to put the incision at the 0 degree, then you have to put the incision location over here at 0 degree, right? So the next thing that comes over here is the lens factor, or the A constant. Now, if you know the lens factor, you can always put the lens factor directly over here. And if you know the A constant, then you can put the A constant over here. Say, for example, in this IUL that you're implanting has an A constant of 119.2, the Barrett will automatically calculate the lens factor. For those of you who are actually thinking what is the lens factor, the lens factor means it is basically a constant that is used by the Barrett Toric calculator to understand the effective lens position of the IUL. That is how far the IUL is going to sit in the eye. The toric IUL is going to sit from the cornea. So if you're putting 119.2, it is going to automatically calculate the lens factor. The lens factor is the difference from the iris plane to the IUL, right? So that's basically the lens factor. It is automatically going to calculate it. If you have a personal A constant, you can always put the personal A constant over here. If you can always select the particular model over here, then the A constant is going to be automatically populated over here, and the lens factor, the corresponding lens factor, is going to be populated here. If you have a personal A constant, then you can actually put your A constant over here, right? 119.2 is the A constant that I use. Now the flat K, what is the flat K? Let us look into the biometry chart. The left eye, the flat K is 41.61. When you are actually implanting the toric, planning for a toric, always see that the both eye cylinder difference is not more than one diopter, right? What I mean to say is that if you see that the left eye has a cylinder of 2 diopters and the right eye has a cylinder of only zero point 0.5, take it with a pinch of salt, remeasure again. That could be because of dry eyes also. So usually for 90% of the patients out there, the 2-eye cylinder difference or astigmatism difference should be less than 1 diopter, right? Now let's take 41.61, the flat K, and the steep K over here is 43.85. Whichever is higher in dioptric form, that's actually the steep meridian, and the steep meridian axis is here 174 degrees. The flat meridian axis is here 41.61 at 84 degrees, right? So it is a regular astigmatism, and it is always 90-degree away from each other. So 41.61 is your flat meridian at 84 degrees, right? At 84 degrees. So 41.81 at 84 degrees, right? And the steep meridian. And the steep meridian is how much? The steep meridian is 43.85 at 174 degrees. 43.85 at 43.85 at 174 degrees, right? It has to be 90-degree away. 174 degrees, right? And what is the axial length? So you let us refer to the biometry chart. The axial length is 24.43. The 24.43, the lens thickness is 4.21 and 3.25. So 24.43 is the axial length. 24.43 is the axial length. The ACD is 3.25, 3.25, and the target refraction. The target refraction is, are you aiming for emmetropia? If you're aiming for emmetropia, this will be 0. Say, for example, you're aiming for kind of myopia, say minus zero point 0.5, then you're targeting, say, minus 0.25 or minus 0.50, then you have to put your target refraction here. Say I am targeting emmetropia here. What is your incision location? Remember I said left eye, if you are putting your incision at the temporal, then that would be 0 degrees, or it could be 10 degrees or 20 degrees. So you have to put the incision location over here. Okay, so what if the incision location is 10 degrees? It is still temporal, but it is away from the 0 degrees, a little away from the 0 degrees. So lens thickness, how much is the lens thickness? Let's see, lens thickness is 4.21, and so we will put the lens thickness here. It is 4.21. That means the human crystalline lens thickness, the cataract lens, is 4.21, and the white to white is 12.3. The white to white is 12.30. Now, if you are wondering why do we have to put white to white and lens thickness, it is because the Barrett, remember, not only helps to calculate the toric model, but also the spherical power of the IUL, and it uses this the lens thickness and the white to white to understand how far the lens is going to sit from the cornea, or in this case the lens factor. Remember, the lens factor is the distance from the of the IUL from the iris plane. So based on the lens thickness and white to white, as well as the ACD and the axial length, it basically tries to calculate the effective lens position of the IUL, right? Now that we have done, let us now enter and go and calculate. So remember, when I put calculate over here, you can see it is the Barrett is showing me the steep meridian over here. The steep meridian is how much? 174 degrees. So the steep meridian over here is 174 degrees. The blue dotted line is showing me 174 degrees. And the flat axis here is 84. So that's basically, this is the place where it is showing me this is the flat meridian of the lens. I kept the SIA 0 just deliberately to show you the impact of the toric lens, actually, without taking into consideration the SIA. If you want to have the SIA, if you have a calculated SIA, you can put the calculated SIA like zero point 0.2 or zero point 0.1, but I kept it at 0 over here, right? So all right, so this is, remember, I put the incision site at 0 as 10 degrees, so it is not showing me at 0, it is showing over here at 10 degrees over here, the incision site. So let's go and see. Now, the moment I put calculate over here, I click calculate, it's not only showing me the steep and flat meridian as well as the incision, in this picture. But the other thing that comes up is the predicted PCA or measured PCA. So Barrett is asking me, would I want the Barrett Toric calculator to calculate the posterior corneal astigmatism based on the inbuilt algorithm of Barrett, or do I have a measured PCA, right? So that's what, if you have a measured PCA, then you actually, if your biometric machine gives you a measured PCA, for example, if you want to input it from the pentacam, or if you want to input the TK, if you have the Almaster TK, so then you can put the measured PCA here. If you don't have, you can keep it default predicted PCA, and the Barrett is going to calculate the power in the posterior, the astigmatism of the posterior cornea based on the input values here. All right, so I will keep it to predicted PCA because I don't have a value over here. And as you can see, I don't have a value of the TKs over here. So I will keep it to predicted PCA. Then I go to the toric IUL, right? Now, as I click the toric IUL, this is basically my output page. This is the parameters on the basis of which Barrett is asking me to put a 19 diopter spherical equivalent. That is, this is the 19.5 diopter of power of the spherical power of the toric, which is the spherical equivalent power of the toric. So you will have to call up your supplier and ask for a 19.5 diopter T5 model. It is asking me to put a T5 model with a 19.5 diopter IUL power and a T5 toricity, toric lens. That is, the astigmatism correction of a T5 would be, so if you look into this, the Barrett has a guide over here. The T5 model will generally correct around 3 diopters on the IUL plane. So the T5 approximately corrects around 2 diopters on the corneal plane, and which is that is important. It is not included over here, but in the IUL plane, the toricity or the cylinder correction is 3 diopters. But remember, you're correcting actually on the corneal plane, so the correction of astigmatism on the corneal plane would be around 2 diopters, but it differs from Alcon, Hoya, or the J&J models, right? So 19.5 diopter is recommended with the T5 toric models, and the refraction is given over here. This is the spherical equivalent. Remember, spherical equivalency is sphere plus half the cylinder. So minus 0.15 is your spherical equivalency. But the Barrett is further breaking it down that minus 0.15 is a product of minus 0.32 of sphere power, 0.34 diopter of cylinder power at 175 axis. If you calculate the spherical equivalency, that is sphere plus half the cylinder of what? 0.34 divided by 2, and you add this with minus 0.32. So sphere plus half the cylinder, you will come to this value, right? The thing that I would like to draw your attention is again to this picture of this eye. What it is telling us is that, where you have to place the T5 model, right? So the T5 model has to be placed at an axis of 175 degrees. 175 degrees. You can see over here, it has to be placed at an axis of 175 degrees over here, right? Now, if you are a doctor, you should first do a gross alignment, right? So you have to basically stop, you inject the lens and stop short over here, say 20 degrees away from 175 degrees, somewhere around this plane you stop, and then you remove the viscoelastic, especially from behind the lens, and then go into the final alignment. Because if it is a C loop haptics, you can only rotate the haptics in a clockwise fashion, right? So if you just go in and implant the lens and do the final alignment and then remove the viscoelastic, then that would lead to some amount of rotation. And if it rotates beyond 175 degrees, then you have to bring it all the way around here. So you have to rotate 180 degrees, right? So rather than doing that, you fall short over here, 20 degree to 30-degree shot, remove the viscoelastics, and then do the final alignment. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I will be updating you with more interesting videos